I'm going to level with you guys on this one. Today is an incredibly strange news day. Like, there's a runoff election happening in Georgia that nobody's talking about. Okay, Herschel Walker and Warnock, I'm sure we'll get results tonight. And I'd probably fade Walker, but hopefully he pulls it out. Who knows? Who knows ultimately how that's going to shake out? There's election integrity laws that are down there. That's all, wonderful and fantastic that I'm sure the MLB is probably still spurging out about. And over in Arizona, they're just certified. Well, Katie Hobbs certified her own election and assured everybody that she did a bang-up job. Even though they, just finished counting ballots yesterday? Yeah, no, definitely great job. I'm sure you're going to do a wonderful job as governor. But Joe Biden was down there, okay? He was, minutes away from the border, and he's like, I got more important things to do. Bruh, you're in Arizona right now, okay? They are begging, okay? Because remember back when John McCain was still alive, regrettably it wasn't that long ago, he was talking about building the dang fence every 6 years whenever he'd need to get reelected. But then outside of that, he'd just be a stupid politico out in Washington, D.C., yes, of course, cozying up to the future president, Joe Biden, of course. Good friends in the Senate, okay? Definitely a very strong conservative figure. Fucking yuck. But just because it's a slow news day doesn't mean there isn't something to talk about, of course. You guys want to talk about the weather? It's cold as shit up here, but that's all right. We can talk about some Twitter stuff. No new Twitter files dropped yesterday, and no idea what Elon's doing with them. Whenever they come around, and we'll talk about it at that point in time. And that's kind of the entire tactic that the White House is taking when it comes to this stuff. White House dismisses Twitter censoring stories on behalf of Joe Biden as old news. This is the exact same thing this old cunt did as soon as the Afghanistan stuff went down, and he had to sit down with, it was either 2020 or 60 Minutes. It doesn't really much matter. It's the exact same shit anyways. And he's like, oh yeah, the interviewer at the time was, there were 13 members of the armed services that got blown up because of your incompetence. Anything you'd like to say about that? Oh, that happened, that was like 4 days ago. What are you guys talking about? He got the dates wrong, and he doesn't care about the military. That's good old blue-collar Joe for you. Fuck this guy. God, I don't... I used to think that he'd be kind of all right, and I came to grips with the fact that, he was he was rightly anointed in 2020, sure thing, just like Katie Hobbs. But that was the point in time. That was the turning point for me, and that was well over a year ago at this point in time. But now the White House, instead of accepting any criticism or, just acknowledging the fact that you guys deliberately tried to suppress, and successfully did for a very long time through very wrong and incorrect reporting. It's just Russian disinformation. No, it's not. Okay, the laptop was there. The laptop was real the entire fucking time. The repairman was always open, willing, and available for interviews. Rudy Giuliani took it on fucking Steven Crowder's show, for Christ's sake. You want to take a look at it? It's right here. And she's like, everybody knew it was real. Okay, Hunter Biden's crank was all over it. Fucking sizing and dimensions of his favorite crack pipe was all over it. It was like there was absolutely zero evidence to suggest that any of that shit was fabricated. Okay, but now, well, I guess we're just gonna have to wait for the next Congress to be sworn in, because during this final lame duck session, Senate and both the House are there right now. I guess another funny news story from today was Mitch McConnell still trying to get acceptance from the people that fucking despise him, i.e. everybody, everywhere, at all times. For whatever fucking reason, they were handing out medals to January 6th police officers that moved barricades for people to come into the Capitol or some shit like that. I don't know. And people snubbed Mitch McConnell for getting a handshake. It's like, stop trying to be a cuck, you fucker. I know it's intrinsic to your very nature, but just fucking retire. Nobody wants to see you anymore. At least all four leaders from the House and the Senate were there. Like Pelosi was there, Schumer was there, McConnell, and McCarthy as well. Pelosi led the charge with some drunken fucking announcement to begin with, and then, yes, they were all given badges or some shit like that, and I don't know. McConnell stupidly had his hand out there, but yeah, holding on to some fucking overly expensive box with some stupid gold fucking badge for one of those meter maids. He at least had common sense. Kevin McCarthy, this is, okay, to not extend his hand. It's like, and nobody was going to pay him any mind to fucking begin with, so at least, hey man, why the fuck even bother making an effort? Pelosi and Schumer obviously set something up beforehand because, oh my god, these heroes, they protected us at our hour of need because democracy was on the line or some dumb shit like that. I'm sure there's going to be revisionist history on that on, well, I guess every other big tech platform. That's not Twitter, because they're actually fighting back, because guess what? Under new leadership, the White House dismissed Monday new information released by Twitter regarding corporate decisions during the 2020 election to censor stories and posts about President Joe Biden's son, Hunter. That's full of old news. If you think about would she try to pull the big brain argument on this one? You know what? If you think about it, that happened 2 years ago. Yeah, detailing stuff that Joe Biden had a hand in orchestrating from 2 years prior to that. So if you think about it, or whatever galaxy brains sound like when they're being activated, just because he did something illegal a long time ago doesn't mean that it's relevant now. White House Press Secretary Gabe Blacklady said during the daily briefing when asked about the White House reaction to new information unveiled by Twitter. Jean-Pierre did not react to the question on Biden's views on social media's companies censoring information on his and his family's behalf. Instead, she argued that Musk and Twitter are trying to use the information as a distraction. Fucking hilarious. Oh my god. An interesting or a coincidence? Did she say that? I'd imagine they probably quoted her verbatim. She is fairly dim, if I may. It would be so haphazardly. Twitter would so haphazardly push this distraction. Ooh, somebody learned a new word from their word-a-day calendar. Haphazardly. Rising volume of anger, hate, and anti-Semitism on their platform. Trying to obfuscate from that? Bruh, haven't you... I'm sure you guys all follow Elon Musk. Not you guys in particular. I'm talking to the, smooth brains that work at the White House. So they obsessively follow Elon Musk's Twitter account. So they must have seen that hate speech impressions, the little graphic that he threw up of the different trending upward statistics since he took over Twitter. Hate speech impressions are way the fuck down. So where do you come up with this whole anti-Semitism thing? Again, they're just trying to grasp onto the lingering remains of the Kanye West, Ye West shit. It's like, it's so fucking obvious at this point. Hey, somebody else did something worse, allegedly. That's what they're trying to go with. I'd argue that, wielding the influence of private entities for your own ill-begotten gains is probably significantly worse than articulating the virtues of a long since dead dictator. Might be a little bit worse, but hey, to each their own, right? The White House announced that it would hold a roundtable on Wednesday about combating anti-Semitism, hosted by, the second cuck, Doug Emhoff, Kamala Harris's beard. Who gives a fuck? But yeah, even to just go back to this initial headline, the White House, instead of, addressing concerns that they should have a direct intervention over, they got more important things going on. Cool. So does Twitter, actually. Elon fires Twitter's general counsel, James Baker, for vetting internal files on delaying Hunter Biden's laptop scandal and delaying the release on a second tranche. Interesting. So I guess we kind of have some insight as to why the Twitter files have been delayed and how Elon Musk followed up his tweet by saying, I guess it's going to take a little while longer than that. The FBI lawyer, that's why James Baker, that's why that name looked so goddamn familiar. He went over the Twitter files to make sure that there was no legal liability. That's what he'd do as general counsel, right? And you know what he did? Scrubbed any references to the FBI off of those Twitter files. Once a Fed, always a Fed. Fucking glows from space. Chief Twit, kind of like that term. It's kind of cool. Has fired Twitter's general counsel, James A. Baker, citing his alleged involvement in the suppressing the release of internal documents regarding Twitter's censorship of Hunter Biden's laptop scandal. This is the way, okay? Like, if Trump gets a second term, God willing, I hope he runs. And I'm sure that he probably wanted to run the country like this the first time around. But the second time around, with no other terms on the horizon, just comes in like a bull in a china shop and just fucking yeets everybody who's useless in there. Just starts firing motherfuckers that are just not useful. You guys remember there was this story that leaked just before Trump was making his announcement. I think this dropped in like September, maybe even August or something like that. That Trump wants to gut the deep state by about 80,000 jobs or some shit like that. I really hope that's true. And I really hope that he wins in 2024 because that would be so fucking great. I just want to hear the years of pent-up spurging that'll come out. Oh, it'll be glorious if they don't find a way to prevent it from happening. Or who knows, maybe Ron DeSantis will have the balls to do it. Don't know. That's still to come in the future. And it's still going to get fucking wilder from here on out. In light of concerns about Baker's possible role in suppression of information important to the public dialogue, he was exited from Twitter today. Musk wrote in a tweet on Tuesday. Very interested. He was exited from Twitter. What a strange way to word that, okay? He wasn't fired. He wasn't released. He was exited. That's deliberate wording, and I want to know what he specifically means by that. Musk added that Baker's explanation of the events surrounding the laptop saga were unconvincing. Interesting. Matt Taibbi released, Twitter files, all that stuff. Do we need to go over that anymore? Also on Tuesday, Representative James Coomer, a Kentucky Republican, sent Baker a letter requesting his appearance before the House Oversight Committee next year. My man, the only good Coomer out there. When the GOP is set to take over control of the House. Before joining Twitter, Baker was a former fucking Fed general counsel under Director James Comey. Baker, and the candlestick maker, and played a key role in the saga surrounding the Bureau's controversial probe into possible collusion between Russia and Donald Trump in the 2016 campaign. And then it had to come out much later that the only person making allusions to Russia was the Hillary Clinton campaign. Good fucking bye, Baker. Didn't seem like you were doing your job all that well. Can't say I'm fucking sad by that. So yeah, who knows? Might be today, might be tomorrow. But if that was the creep, and they always have that little fucking disturbing smile on their face, right? But before we take off, what did Taibbi have to say? Okay, so on Friday, the first installment of Twitter Files was published here. We expect to publish more over the weekend. Many wondered why there were delays. We can now tell you part of the reason why. On Tuesday, Twitter Deputy General Counsel and former FBI General Counsel Jim Baker was fired. Among the reasons, vetting the first batch of Twitter Files without knowledge of new management. Ooh! Usurper in the mix. Well, not so much anymore. Oh, there's actually more to this story. I was going to cut that off prematurely. My mistake. Sorry about that. Taibbi published a batch of internal documents calling them Twitter files. Musk called them the Twitter files, but okay. Included an exchange between Baker and former VP of Global Comms Brandon Borman. Borman asked regarding the banning an article about Hunter Biden under Twitter's hacked materials policy. Can we truthfully claim that this is part of the policy? Baker responded, appearing to argue in favor of maintaining the ban because caution is warranted. In a new Twitter thread on Tuesday, Taibbi alleged that Baker had been fired after he was discovered vetting the internal documents before the release, delaying the release of second tranche of files to Taibbi and another journalist, Barry Weiss. Oh, okay, cool. She's all right. Left... Oh, Christ almighty, where did she work beforehand? New York Times, but then realized that they were super sus. It's about the same time that Glenn Greenwald left The Intercept. I think that was in on and around the exact same time that all the Hunter Biden stuff was initially kicking off. So these are not exactly, conservative-minded individuals. I would hazard a guess to say that they're barely even centrists, okay? They're definitely left-of-center individuals. So that'd be about the most charitable interpretation of their own personal beliefs from as far as we know in the public sphere. But they are principled in the pursuit of good journalism. So if they're involved in the mix, that's all right. Taibbi wrote to the new management, meaning Musk, was not aware of Baker's role in reviewing the files before their release. Taibbi tweeted the process for producing the Twitter files involved delivery to two journalists, Weiss and himself, via a lawyer close to new management. However, after the initial batch, things became complicated. Over the weekend, while we both dealt with obstacles in searches, it was Barry Weiss who discovered that the person in charge of releasing the files was somebody named Jim. When she called to ask Jim's last name, the answer came back Jim Baker. My jaw hit the floor, Weiss said. Ooh. Taibbi continued, Baker is a controversial figure. He is something of a zealot of FBI controversies dating back to 16, from the Steele dossier to the Alpha server mess, resigned in 2018, And then funny how that works. From the government over to big tech, and now you think he's not going to get snapped up by the Biden administration? Oh, probably not today, probably not tomorrow, but take a look for his name to pop up sometime in the new year, I would imagine. Probably representing Hunter Biden's interest in some form or fashion, because he knows exactly where the bodies are hidden. Because what was his title, right? Former FBI General Counsel. Oh, he knows. He knows a fucking lot. So yeah, this shit isn't over, but it did, in fact, get more complicated. So, whenever they get around to releasing the rest of them, like I stated before, we'll be talking about them. And I just noticed that off to the side, and yeah, a special shout out, especially, you know, she got a bad rap over the past couple of decades, but rest in peace, Kirstie Alley. Condolences to the family, of course, passing away tragically, 71 years of age after a recent diagnosis of colon cancer. That shit sucks, man. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.